The question was, how can a broadline distributor like Sysco Food Services of Portland support folks' efforts to get more locally and regionally produced food into our schools?
What we really, I guess I'm in sales, so it's easy for me to, or it's more natural for me to come up to you and ask you, what do you need? What are your needs? And that's what basic sales is being able to come up as a distributor and see what those needs are and then try and fill them. And it took a while for that to catch on with me, but all distributors, that's what they have to find out. So it's interesting, if I do a little timeline here and go back to when I started first hearing about local, was after, I've been doing this for close to 30 years, was with a guy named Greg Higgins, a guy named Corey Schreiber, a guy named David Yetkin, and these were all customers of mine, or I knew them, and I didn't really know what to tell them other than what we had as a distributor for Sysco at the time. But it's changed a bit, and why do you suppose that's changed? Your needs. You are expressing that as a need. And so I guess one of my biggest challenges as a distributor in supporting what you're trying to accomplish, and it's so exciting to be here to listen to how far it's come, is not getting enough information to be able to support the needs. Because more and more, Sysco's a big company. And I've heard on more than one occasion the word Sysco used, or the name Sysco used, as, well, that's a big company, we don't want to do things like Sysco. But again, it's not neither here nor there. What it is it's a distribution issue. When I got into produce sales about 5 years ago, I went to several people and asked them that were former customers of mine down in this marketplace, because I was living in Seattle at the time and I came back into this marketplace, and I asked them what they wanted from a produce company. What do you want from a distributor? And the overwhelming response was, and all these guys at these white tablecloth restaurants, and David, not so much a white tablecloth restaurant, but a pizza place, we would love to have a clearinghouse of sorts to be able to have farmers come to, so I don't have 10 to 15 guys coming in my back door every day with product. It's great product. We would just like to be able to pick up the phone and get it from one source. We now have an on-demand program, as I think FSA does, and I think that other companies do as well, that allow us to purchase product from organically grown company who has how many farmers going on within their distribution network or their procurement network. And those are all local. So I get a call by 1 o'clock today for an order, and it's on the truck tomorrow. And it was probably in the field either yesterday or maybe the day before, but it's pretty fresh, as local product has to be. So there's a lot of things that have changed from that standpoint. And it's fun to be a part of, and it's fun to be able to give back to people that are asking for that. What's another question? Challenges in distribution, best practices. Just tell us what you want. I think companies like Sysco and Food Services of America, it's a very competitive environment. Duck Delivery as well, it's a very competitive environment. Pacific Coast Fruit Company, which I used to work for, and I actually submitted the bid to procure that business. And it was listening to what was in that bid and having language in that RFP that told me what you wanted and then answering it in kind. This is our connection with farmers. This is what we can do for you, as opposed to having a template that just says, here's your fee per case, here's your fee per package, have a nice day. We hope we get it. Tell them what you want. Tell your distributors what you need in that process, and you're more likely to get what you need too. So, it's funny. I brought calendars today. I couldn't make it this morning because I had a customer come in that I had to spend some time with, and the guy that does the procurement, Troy Thomas, for our company, brought this calendar out for 2008, and it's a Sysco calendar, and it's local farmers. And I thought, well, how cool. I'll take that this afternoon. It's a lot of California farmers, because California's got a lot of local processes in place for that. So no, not California, but Seattle. So anyway, are there any questions that you guys have of a broadliner? Yeah.
How can we double trackability of that, and using barcode systems that the distributions have to assist the Department of Education to be able to show how many dollars are going back and supporting the bills and the dollars that were offered by the state?
Great question, and that is a question that came, I believe, from Corey as well. Yeah, he approached me a while back on that. Big company, how do we track that process? Well, we have the ability to flag anything that's from a local area or a particular area. So we, first of all, have to identify what those items are and put that in our computer so that we can push a button and spit it out. I mean, I could run a report right now on all the purchases we have for any nutritional services institution or whoever, for that matter, by category, because we like to know that information too. And then give you a report when we put this in place that shows you what percentage of those items you're buying that are local. Then I can do another one and say, but look at all these other items that are local.
So that would go to the food service managers, that they could then have that documentation to give to the Department of Education.
Yes, and or
On the invoices.
Mhm.
That could show on the invoices. That it was an Oregon grown or processed product.
yes. And I only say that because there's different ways to identify local things. We can just put check a box in our computer system so that it spits out a report, and then we spit out a report that speaks to particular customers, or we can actually identify the items. See, here's another problem in local product, is that we only get so much local product in from any farm as we get that in. And we have to offset that with product we bring out of California or wherever that product might be coming from. And so we like to put that local product right up front. It goes out, but when we're out, we're out. And how many local farmers are wanting to go through us or wanting to bring product into our facility, or do we have those contacts? Have we made all those connections to make that more of a local item or not? So if we change the description and that item number has two different items in that slot to pull it, well, then maybe you're not getting local. So you have to make it more specific, and then there's labor involved. So it's more than that. You have to have a slot and dedicated, hopefully have enough farmers supporting that program, bringing enough product in, enough product.